Indiana Fever are making some major moves this offseason. Coach is out, the free agency rumors are hot, and one Fever player just joined Unrivaled.
Caitlin Clark fans are losing their minds after Unrivaled's big announcement. Many are saying the same thing. CC is joining, and she's about to set the league on fire. That's the dream. But is there any truth to it?
Is going on with the Indiana Fever because there has been new news almost daily of the things that they are doing during the offseason.
Now that the dust has settled on the WNBA's wildly successful 2025 season, all eyes are turning to the next big thing, the debut of the Unrivaled League, this bold, fast-paced 3-on-3 competition founded by WNBA superstars Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, officially tips off in January. And just this Monday, Unrivaled made headlines with a major roster move. The signing of Las Vegas Aces guard Kate Martin. Martin, of course, spent 5 seasons with the Iowa Hawkeyes, where she shared the court and a deep bond with none other than Indiana Fever phenom Caitlin Clark. Drafted by the Aces in the second round of the 2025 WNBA draft, Martin has remained one of Clark's closest friends, which is exactly why fans and insiders believe her addition to the Unrivaled roster was no coincidence. Many see it as a calculated move, another piece of the puzzle in Unrivaled's pursuit of Caitlin Clark. Rumors have been swirling that the league is preparing a Messi-style offer to lure Clark in. While the deal won't match Lionel Messi's staggering $150 million contract with MLS, sources suggest it could include a substantial salary, ownership equity, and revenue-sharing incentives. And now, with both Kate Martin and a current Indiana Fever player joining the Unrivaled lineup, fans are connecting the dots. Fever supporters are seeing representation in this new league, and many believe that can only mean one thing: Caitlin Clark could be next.
Speaking of Indiana Fever players, Lexi Hall was just announced as the 29th player to join Unrivaled League, and now this is actually the first Indiana Fever player who will be playing in.
While the Unrivaled 3-on-3 Women's Basketball League's 30-player roster is nearly complete, there's more speculation swirling around the one name that hasn't been announced than the 29 who already have. And of course, that one name is Caitlin Clark. Despite Unrivaled's high-profile efforts to bring the Indiana Fever superstar on board, and with the league set to tip off January 17th in Miami, sources suggest that the financial package alone hasn't been enough to sway the 22-year-old phenom. At least not yet, but Unrivaled isn't done. The league appears to be activating other recruitment strategies, and if recent moves are any indication, they're pulling every string they can to land their ultimate prize: Caitlin Clark.
The one other thing that I think is so interesting, however, about these Unrivaled announcements is now they have one player left, right? But within the last 3 announcements, one of them has been Kate Martin and one of them has been Lexi Hall. And those are 2 women who are good friends with Caitlin Clark. Now, has Unrivaled known that they were going to play this entire time and they were saving them until the end? Were they using these announcements to try to leverage Caitlin? Are they using them as a lead up to the announcement of Caitlin Clark being that 30th player, which, as we know, we haven't heard anything yet if she will be playing or not, but we know that Unrivaled was doing their last push with this huge offer that they were supposedly making.
On Monday, Unrivaled confirmed that Las Vegas Aces guard Kate Martin, Caitlin Clark's former Iowa teammate and close friend, will officially join the league. Just 2 days later, they made another big announcement. Indiana Fever wing Lexi Hall, who has grown especially close to Clark during the 2025 WNBA season, will also be competing in Unrivaled. With only one roster spot left and 2 of Clark's inner circle teammates now on board, fans across social media are buzzing. Many believe this is part of a calculated strategy to bring Caitlin in as the 30th and final player. One user on X posted, "Lexi Hall is an amazing way to try and get Caitlin Clark to be number 30 in Unrivaled." Another chimed in, "Last player coming on the heels of Money Martin, Aaliyah Edwards, and Lexi Hall? I mean, it's got to be CC, right?" And a third speculated, "Imagine that was part of Caitlin's negotiations. She'll join, but only if they sign Lexi too." Now, with anticipation building, fans are holding their breath, hoping the final name announced will be none other than the most beloved Fever legend in years, Caitlin Clark.
So the biggest update with the team is, of course, that Coach Christy Sides is fired. Now, the interesting part about the Indiana Fever's announcement of them firing Coach Christy Sides is the tweet that they put out. So they simply said, "We have parted ways with head coach Christy Sides." And they put up the tweet and they used a photo of her looking very focused in the game. Now, if you have been following basketball during the internet era, then you know that this isn't the typical way that teams announce that they have parted ways, that they have fired, that they have whatever with a coach, unless a coach has done something blatantly wrong to make it a bigger story. But from what we know with Coach Christy Sides, it didn't seem like there was any bad blood between her and players. It didn't seem like the team had locker room issues. It didn't seem like she broke any rules. So a lot of people were a little taken aback by this tweet, saying like that was kind of a cold way to announce that you fired your...
Alongside the growing buzz around Unrivaled, new reports have also surfaced offering a closer look at the behind-the-scenes dynamics within the Indiana Fever, specifically under former head coach Christy Sides. While speculation had circulated for months that Sides and Caitlin Clark didn't see eye to eye, there appears to be no concrete evidence supporting claims of a strained relationship. In fact, sources suggest there's nothing to indicate that Sides had any significant issues with Clark or any of her former Fever teammates.
The way that the Indiana Fever parted ways with Coach Christy Sides had a lot of people wondering what was really going on behind the scenes in the Indiana Fever locker room, like what was really going on. Now, Christy Sides also tweeted out shortly after the announcement was made, and she said, "Leave it better than you found it," which was also kind of cryptic. Christy Sides isn't really too active on social media, so this was a rare post from her, but maybe she was blindsided by this news. Maybe she thought that she would be returning. Maybe she thought that she did.
According to multiple reports, the Indiana Fever's decision to part ways with head coach Christy Sides was driven by a desire to bring in someone who could realistically lead the team to a championship in the near future. That doesn't mean her time with the team was without tension. Like any coach-player dynamic, disagreements are part of the process. Coaches and players aren't always supposed to agree. That's how growth happens. In a recent appearance on the Ringer WNBA show, Fever wing Lexi Hull shared a lighthearted moment between Sides and Caitlin Clark that had the entire team laughing. Hull recalled a particular practice where Sides had blasted loud music to simulate crowd noise at an opposing arena. "Christy turns on this loud music," Hull said, and Caitlin yells out, "Can someone turn it off? It's giving me a migraine." Sides, surprised, shot back, "What did you say?" And to everyone's shock, Caitlin repeated it, loud and clear. "If anyone else on our team had said that and been asked to repeat it," Hull laughed, "none of us would have dared. But she did, and we were all dying." It was a hilarious and unforgettable moment, one Lexi Hull shared not to criticize, but to show the fiery, competitive spirit that existed within the team. The players were literally rolling on the ground laughing. But while that story might still bring a smile, it's no longer the focus. Regardless of how Caitlin Clark or the rest of the Fever feel about Christy Sides or vice versa, it's time to move forward. Clark only played under Sides for one season, but what a season it was to end her rookie year. The Indiana Fever phenom shattered multiple records, earned WNBA Rookie of the Year, and led the team to its first playoff appearance in 8 years. Her impact was immediate and undeniable. Now, as she enters her second season, she'll do so under a new head coach. According to reports, former Connecticut Sun coach Stephanie White is the leading candidate, a move that could further amplify fan interest and expectations. One thing is crystal clear: the Caitlin Clark effect is very real. The term was coined to describe her massive economic and cultural impact on women's basketball, a wave that started in college and surged even higher during her first professional season. As the #1 overall pick, Clark lit up the league like never before, draining deep threes like Steph Curry and obliterating records in the process. Her presence triggered a revolution. Ticket sales, jersey purchases, home game attendance, social media engagement, and national TV viewership all skyrocketed during the 2024 season. According to a recent analysis, the WNBA generated $136 million in sponsor advertising value, and most of that was credited to Caitlin Clark. Fever games alone accounted for a staggering 45.5% of the WNBA's overall broadcast value, proving just how overwhelming the Caitlin Clark effect truly is, not just on the court, but across the business of basketball itself. But all this success came during a storm of transition for the Fever. The team recently announced it was parting ways with head coach Christy Sides, who finished her 2-year tenure with a record of 33-47. Despite finally leading the Fever to the playoffs for the first time in 8 years, Clark and her team were knocked out in the first round by the Connecticut Sun. Now, all eyes are turning toward the Sun's former head coach, Stephanie White, who's strongly linked to the Fever's vacant coaching position. White is practically Indiana basketball royalty. Raised in the state, she won an NCAA title with Purdue, played for the Fever herself, and even served as their head coach back in 2015 and 2016. After 5 years at Vanderbilt, she returned to the WNBA in 2023 and guided the Connecticut Sun to back-to-back semifinal appearances, earning Coach of the Year honors in 2023. When asked about the possibility of being coached by White, Caitlin Clark was nothing but respectful. "She's obviously called a lot of my games all throughout college, and I think she has a really great basketball mind." Clark said, "She's been a trailblazer. She's always been really supportive of my game, and it's been fun to talk to her at shootarounds. Now I finally get to play against her, so that's going to be a lot of fun for both of us." If White is officially named head coach, she'll be the latest piece in a massive coaching shakeup. This offseason, 8 WNBA teams have parted ways with their coaches, among them Dallas, Atlanta, Chicago, Washington, Los Angeles, and Indiana. The new WNBA season tips off in May 2025, and there's talk that the regular season may expand to 44 games. But before any of that happens, a brand new era of women's basketball will begin. Starting in January, 30 of the sport's biggest names will compete in Unrivaled, a bold new 3-on-3 professional league created by WNBA superstars Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier. The $100 million TNT Sports-backed league will feature 6 teams over 8 weeks, culminating in a playoff battle in Miami. Superstars like Angel Reese, Brittany Griner, and Kelsey Plum are already on board, but there's still one roster spot left. One name that hasn't yet been revealed, and fans everywhere are asking, will that final player be Caitlin Clark? League insiders say Unrivaled is going all in, reportedly working on a Messi-style offer with massive incentives to land the 22-year-old phenom. Ownership shares, profit participation, brand deals, the works. But so far, Clark hasn't confirmed her participation. So the question remains, will she join Unrivaled? And if she does, will the WNBA survive the shockwave?